This show is clean, pretty much.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 784. Hello, it's Mike Matthews, broadcasting from the last place on earth located somewhere in PodCastro Valley, California. Today, I have a very special guest. It's a band from Detroit featuring some amazing rockin' women. I talked to guitarist Mary Cobra of the Detroit Cobras. We also hear from Madame Rootabega, Valentino, Bison Bentley, and Uber sucks.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I just wanted to let you know, and we'll find out why coming up. Oh yeah, they have the big bucks.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Unlike me, on the last show, the Brewmaster's root beer vat blew up when he tried to make a Matthews Chino root beer. I'm fat. Well, I'm working on it. I'm working out by walking my dog, Basil the Boxer. Stop that, Basil. You're going to rip my shirt.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Does your dog like to play with your sleeves? If your shirt has sleeves, well, that shirt used to have sleeves.
Mike's
And now
Daily
I report
Podcast
on PodCastro Valley,
Yeah!
where the show originated from. There was a nice little party on Saturday. We had a parade. It was holiday themed. People had it was a parade of lights. Look who just walked in. Hello, Mike Masters, this is Madame Rootabega, and I like the parade of lights, except when I put the lights on myself and I get electrocuted. Oh, how does that happen? Well, let me show you. I'm putting some lights on you, and now watch. What are you talking about? That's ouch, ow. Stop. All right, I get the point. Yeah. Now, I did put antlers on Basil the Boxer, those little dog antlers, and he walked around. People were like, oh, look, it's a little reindeer. Or it's Max from The Grinch That Stole Christmas. You know, the dog that he puts the antlers on. That's just... Basil didn't like it, though. As you can imagine, dogs don't like the look who just walked in.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the bad attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, what else you gonna put on your dog? A little hat? There.
Yeah, he's gonna put a hat on his dog's head. Do you know that? I didn't put a hat on his head, no. Just the antlers. The little kids, they love it. They laugh. They were pointing. And then I had on like a kind of a Christmassy outfit. People thought I was Santa. And you know, that's never a nice comparison. Sorry, Santa. But y'all fat. And you have lots of bowls of jelly in your belly. Isn't that how the poem? Anyway, this was a fun festival. I like that PodCastro Valley has two festivals, big ones, and they're all sort of in the fall. There's the first one called the Fall Fest, and they block off PodCastro Valley Boulevard, put up a bunch of booths and barbecue and things, and that's nice. This thing that happened last Saturday, is called Meet in the Street. It has just a couple of booths, and the big thing is the Parade of Lights. We do have another parade, the Rodeo Parade. We have that like in the spring, and that's for the big rodeo that they do down at Rowell Ranch, down the road a ways. For all you people listening from other parts of the world, there's your little description of PodCastro Valley. You're so welcome. We're an interesting town because we are so close to San Francisco, yet we don't really have a downtown. We're kind of just this little city that's not really a city. And there's a lot of people that live here, big suburbia. And a lot of people turned out for the parade. Just people want to see this kind of thing and have this kind of fun. And now this Meet in the Street that was this past weekend is like I think this is the third one that they've done. So that's exciting. Just makes me happy and warm inside. Or maybe I've been trying to eat salads lately, trying to be all healthy, and I felt like I woke up in the middle of the night, my stomach was burning, I was going to give birth to a bowling ball. It was terrible, but I didn't. But that's sometimes the salads and the fibers and whatnot. It's so lovely. Oh, hey, also saw at this Meet in the Street festival someone who listens to the show. In fact, she emailed me an interesting thing. Speaking of BMI, body mass index scores.
Email for email.
Yeah, Cynthia told me, and I saw her at the parade. She said to me via email, you shouldn't let the BMI thing get to you. When you are ready, focus on eating different, finding something that works for you. There are so many approaches. I have probably tried them all. I now eat something very similar to the paleo diet, but I add legumes and a small amount of dairy, and it works for me. I have more energy. See, that's the thing. It's finding the foods that you like, but you don't want to overdo it because then you'll get sick of them. And then she goes on to say, like, how you need to cut out sugar and stuff. And you know what? That's true, too. You have to watch it, the sugar. And sugar is in everything, basically, all the good stuff. It's in alcohol. Dang. It's in all those amazing pies and the candies. Yeah, it's even snuck into candies. So that is what we must be conscious of, is sugar. And of fat. And anything that's fat-related. Oils, fried things, butter. And then there's salt. You have to be careful. Anything that you buy in a box these days is crammed full of salt. So you really shouldn't add salt to anything. This is all stuff that I learned from the wonderful class that I took. The Cooking Matters class. Cooking Matters do classes all over the country. And also spreading all over the country is Uber. Now, yesterday, BuzzFeed's Ben Smith posted a scoop quoting Uber's senior vice president of business, Emil Michael, who told a fancy dinner party of New York elite that Uber could spend $1 million to discredit its critics in the press, specifically Pando Daily's Sarah Lacey, who has written about the company's shady tactics and misogynist culture. But Uber wouldn't be spending $1 million on damage control or positive PR. Michael boasted that the company would hire opposition researchers to dig into journalists' personal and family lives and, quote, prove a particular and very specific claim about Lacey's personal life, Smith wrote. This according to PCWorld.com. Through a spokesman, Michael claimed his statement was wrong no matter the circumstance, but it didn't reflect his or his company's views. Uber basically said its judgment-impaired executive was blowing off frustrated steam, and the company would never actually do this. But Uber has a pattern of untrustworthiness, so their claim is hard to take at face value. Even more damning in the BuzzFeed article is that despite a company spokesperson insisting that Uber has a policy against executives looking at individual reporters' travel data, this has actually happened. The GM of Uber NYC assessed BuzzFeed reporter Johanna Bjohan's profile to make a point in an email exchange with her. And Forbes reported last month how Uber's God View, or real-time map of Uber's users' location, was used as a party trick, as chronicled by entrepreneur Peter Sims, who was basically publicly stalked for entertainment. Even though Uber dialed back Emil Michael's gross comments, Michael apologized to Lacey via email and on Twitter after she refused to have an off-the-record conversation with him when he called her. It's important to be able to trust a company that you're asking to drive you home late at night. This PC World article goes on to say what to use instead. Uber isn't the only ride-sharing app, although it can be hard for consumers and regulators to determine which, if any, has the best behavior. There's Lyft, there's Sidecar, there's cabs and taxis. Ooh, and Uber does this thing called surge pricing, where they actually increase their prices if it's particularly busy or there's bad weather. So, yeah, they suck. And what do you think about Uber? What do you think about PodCastro Valley's big partying? and BMI scores and that kind of thing. Email me, MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. We read your comments on the section emails from email. Also email me there if you'd like to be a guest on the show or if you'd like to sponsor the show, MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. There's also the website, MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST.com, where you can find links to where to listen to this show in iTunes. You can subscribe to this show there and also comment on the show. You can rank the show too, and if you do that, that helps us out. There's also links to where to find us on YouTube, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Spreaker, Mixcloud, Podomatic, Yelp, Tumblr, and Twitter. And if you want to help us out, there's the Amazon link. Click on that and buy something, whatever you buy on Amazon. Go through that Amazon link first, and we get a little bit of that. It helps out the show. It's cool. It's something, and it doesn't change the way you shop. Another great way to support the show is through liking the Facebook page. And when I post a new show, share it with your friends, and more people find out about us that way too. Also at MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST.com, there's the blog, the Daily Podcast Picture, and all of my past interviews. And speaking of interviews...
Into an interview.
So, Mary Cobra.
Yes.
Thanks for being on Mike's Daily Podcast.
Oh, well, thank you. Where are you at?
In California.
Oh, sweet, man.
In the Bay Area. Have you guys played the Bay Area?
No, we played. No, you guys know I played San Francisco, the Bay Area. We played Slim's a lot. We played Bottom of the Hill a lot. We played the Grand American Musical Hall. We played, I played San Francisco quite a bit.
Tell me a little bit about your rich history of the Detroit Cobras.
It was like, the Cobras were around. Like, in Detroit, there's a lot of nothing to do, and it's cold, like right now, and so there's a lot of bands, so it's like, the one good thing we have a lot of bands, man. We still do. So, like, if you're a band and you got to play with somebody, there's definitely many choices, you know what I mean? So, Detroit Cobras came up with, like, the White Stripes and their bombs and all that, blah, blah, blah. But we like everybody in Detroit has a lot of records. Because there was a lot of, like, there's so many bands in Detroit, like, from the past even, that there's a lot of records, And in Detroit, like, in the 60s and 70s, there was a lot of, like, little independent labels, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they put out a lot of stuff. So we all, like, we all came up, like, just having lots of records, and there's nothing to do, and like, right now, it's like, what, 0, wind chill, so you drink a lot and you listen to a lot of music, man. That's all there is to do up here, In a way, you're kind of isolated, because it's like a mitten. So a lot of, you're kind of isolated. You have to go up into Detroit, you know what I mean? So basically, we just listen to a lot of records, and we all have a very rich history in, like, R&B, and there's the MC5, and there's the Motown, there's the Fortune record. There's just a lot of music around here. Still is, I mean, with the coming of the White Stripes, kind of like gave us all work, but prior to that, we pretty much were playing for ourselves, And I still think Dance in Detroit still do that,
You guys have the sound that is just so you can't not dance to your music, and you want to dance and have a great time with it. It sounds so.
That's awesome, man. I'm glad to hear that.
It's so like rock and roll, like true rock and roll, and it just oozes fun. How did you meet the lead singer Rachel Nagy?
At the bar. I don't know.
Was that
the way anybody meets anybody at the bar?
At the bar. Okay, that was a stupid question.
Isn't this what you meet most people?
Yeah. I sometimes meet people at the dog park.
Oh, well, that's actually pretty cool. but you don't meet too many musicians at the dog park, though.
That's true.
Yeah, everything around Detroit is done around the bar. I mean, unfortunately, but it is. I mean, even when you're looking for musicians, you're at the bar, and there's other musicians at the bar, and even when the White Stripes and when the guy was together with the booking agent that we all ended up with, or even the first guy that put out the 45 or whatever, it was like, hey, you want to put out a 45? Sure, why not? At the bar.
At the bar.
So, yeah, sure. There's a lot of stuff done at the bar, but basically, yeah. I mean, a lot of us been in the bar since way before we could drink, so, you definitely know a lot of people for a long time,
And what is the recording process like when you guys record an album? Or
you know,
song?
it's all in pieces now. But you know, before just like right now, we just recorded this song just to see what it sounded like. You know, and me and Rachel are trying to find a mix right now on this one song we just did. But we